Most traders lose money because they have no idea where the big players are positioned. They think swing trading is about holding trades longer, but if your bias is wrong, time just multiplies your losses. In this video, I'm going to show you the exact swing trading strategy I use to catch 3 to 6 hour setups every single week. The same one that made me over $20,000 last month, even while I was asleep. It is clean, it is rules-based, and it has 0 indicators. And by the end of this video, you will understand exactly how to trade like the institutions and not against them. Let's get started. Here's the harsh truth. Most swing traders are entering before the real move begins. They're buying highs, they're selling lows. They're completely blind to the liquidity traps that smart money leaves behind. Price doesn't move because of your trend line. It moves because liquidity gets taken and institutions reposition. That's why my entire swing trading strategy starts with one simple idea. Wait for the liquidity sweep first. Once that happens, you can see the real intent of the market, not the illusion. So let's break it down step by step. Imagine for a second this candle here on the left is your daily time frame. In this case, it will be our higher time frame bias. What are we going to do? Step number 1 is we're going to wait for price action on the 1 hour time frame to trade up and sweep out previous day high. If the high gets taken, we expect price action to reverse. If previous day low gets taken, we expect price action to trade bullish and reverse. What are we going to do then? We're not going to wait for a simple market structure shift. That's not going to cut it. What we are going to wait for is we are going to wait for a breaker block to form. So if, for example, price action sweeps previous day high, where would our breaker block be in this case? Well, if we look at this price action, our breaker block will be the last down close candles before the move up. This would be our breaker block. So if we can get price action to close with a body below these 2 down close candles, that will form our breaker block. And that is what we want. We want price action to form the breaker block. So again, after that breaker block gets formed, what do we do now? Now, we wait for price to displace through a swing point. And this is extremely important. We're simply not going to enter a trade as soon as price action closes below the breaker. That's not going to cut it. We want to be sure that this market is ready to sell. So what are we going to do? We are going to wait for a swing point to form. And we all know a swing point is a 3 candle pattern. I'll go over that once we hit the chart examples. And we're going to wait for price action to close below this swing point. So as soon as price displaces through our swing point, that's our confirmation. I want to see a clear body close below this swing low. That will be my confirmation entry. So that will be where I take my trade. You have a couple options when it comes to your stop loss. And remember, all of this is done on the 1 hour time frame. If your higher time frame is a daily, your lower time frame will be your 1 hour. So then we are going to wait for price to close below. We can either put our stop loss at this swing high, we can place our stop loss at the breaker block high, or we can be safe and place our stop loss at the all-time high. It comes down to the trader. Just keep in mind, the further away you place your stop loss, the lower your target can be. So I like taking my stop above the recent swing high, and we'll do examples for different trades, but then we go ahead and we target a 3R for this strategy. And that's where the real kicker comes in. We risk 1%, we target a 3R minimum. This single setup has been responsible for thousands of dollars in profits for both me and some of my students. It's not about guessing, it is about following structure and time. Just so, by the way, If you want to learn how I trade as a full-time 7-figure trader, and if you want to trade live with me every single day from Monday to Friday, you can go ahead and check the first link in my description below and sign up for the mentorship program. You'll see me call these setups in real time, live, right in front of you. You'll see how I manage my position, how I manage my expectations, and how I manage my psychology. And inside, you'll get the daily live sessions, you'll get direct access to me for support and mentorship. You'll have an in-depth trading course, you'll have a funded trader roadmap, a professional trading journal, and an exclusive inner circle of traders ready to help you become the best trader that you can possibly be. So let's talk about a bullish example at the moment. Remember, the previous example was a bearish example, and we used the daily and the 1 hour time frame. Here, we're going to use the weekly and the 4 hour time frame, and we're going to talk about a bullish example. So here, what do we want to see? We want to see the previous week low get taken out. Now, as soon as that low gets taken out, we're not going to wait for an inverse fair value gap. We're not going to wait for a market structure shift. We're going to wait for a breaker block to form. So this breaker block forms when price action closes above the last up close candles before the move down. This will be my breaker block. We wait for a body close above that level. But then what do we need? After the breaker block forms, once we get that close above, we need a key swing point to form. So we need a swing high to form, and we need bullish candles to go and close above the swing high. As soon as we get those bullish candles to close above the high, what is that again? That's your confirmation. Then you execute on the 4 hour time frame. There, that's your entry. Again, stop loss, you have an option of placing it at that swing low, placing it below the breaker block low, or being safe and placing it below the all-time low. I like using the closest swing low, and then again, target is minimum a 3-to-1 target. This strategy works because it's based on how the market actually moves, not patterns, not indicators, but intent. Institutions build liquidity, they take it, and then they reverse the direction. That's it, every single time. When you align your daily and weekly charts this way, you stop reacting and start anticipating. That's when trading gets boring, but that is what you want because that's a profitable trader. You're no longer guessing, but you're executing on high probability setups. That's where freedom starts. Time freedom, emotional freedom, and most important, financial freedom. So first, looking at a bearish example here on NQ on the daily time frame, and remember we pair the daily with the 1 hour time frame. So looking at this, we need our points of interest. Just a little tip, you can improve the win rate of this model if you wait for a swing point on the higher time frame to get taken out as well with your previous day high or low. So over here we have our all-time high, and over here we have the previous day high. So what are we going to do now? We're going to go to our 1 hour time frame, and simple, we're just going to wait for price action to trade through either one of these levels. Now we see that the market does trade up, and we do take out both the previous day high and the previous all-time high. We see that the previous day high is this swing point, and the upper line is the previous all-time high. So what do we need now? Well, now we need a breaker block to form. Are we going to use these down close candles as a breaker? No, we're not going to use those. I want to see the proper pullback before the run higher that took out liquidity. So we're going to use these two down close candles as our breaker block. So think of a breaker block as a failed order block. If price action is truly bullish, we would see these bearish candles support higher prices. That is how order blocks work. But what happens if we get a candle body to close below? Then this order block has failed. Then it becomes a breaker block. So I want you to think about breaker blocks as failed order blocks. Well, then we need that candle body to close below it. So do we get that close below? Well, if we zoom in, we do get that close below. But we're not going to go ahead and take an entry yet, because this isn't enough confirmation for me. This might as well just be a liquidity sweep before price runs higher. So what are we going to wait for? Well, here we do have a swing low. So we're going to wait for price action to close below the swing low with a candle body. As soon as we close below that candle, that swing low, that is my entry. As simple as that. Stop loss goes at the closest swing high, which in this case is the all-time high, and we can take our targets minimum at 3R. And why 3R? Because with a 3R, even with a 35% win rate, you have a very profitable setup. So looking at this, this would be the trade that we take. We have our previous day high swept, we have our breaker block, we have displacement through a swing low. This is my entry. And we simply take the trade, we sit on our hands and we wait for the market to do its thing. We can see the market does give us a little bit of pain. We revisit the previous day high again, but we do trade lower and we hit take profit. Now on to our next example. Again, daily 1 hour. Again, here we are looking at a short setup, but we are on gold at the moment. So what are we going to do? We're going to mark out our previous day high and we are going to mark out our previous day low. Then we go to our 1 hour time frame and we wait for the market to trade through either side of this range. Looking at this, we play price forward and we wait for a sweep of either side. We see that we do sweep our previous day high, so we are going to be looking at taking a sell. Again, where would my breaker block be? At the moment, it is going to be these two down close candles, because remember, we only use body high to body low. This was the low before the push higher. If price decides to trade higher, sweeping out the high, then this bearish candle will become my breaker block. But let's see what price action does. Well, there we go. We close below this breaker block. So now what do we need? Now we need a close below a swing point. So either we can use this swing low or we can use this swing low. We need either side to get taken. So let's see what the market does. Do we close below? Yes, we do. So do we have an entry? Yes, we do. Again, where do we place our stop? You can either go above breaker block high, you can go at the closest swing point, or you can go safe and at the all-time high. So I like using the closest swing point. So this will be the closest swing high to my trade. And this is my trade. First target will be 3R always. And we can see that lines up perfectly with previous day low as well. So here price action is busy playing a range and we hit TP quite quickly. Again, like always, I always leave the best example for last. So, for future videos, you always have to watch the video to get to the best top-down analysis view of the strategy that I'm teaching. Here we have Bitcoin on the weekly time frame. So what would be the correct time frame alignment? It will be the 4 hour. If we use the weekly as a higher time frame, we use the 4 hour time frame as our entry time frame. Here, what do we see? Well, it's clear as day that this market is in a bullish run. We see that we are pushing, expanding, retracement, expansion. We retrace into a order block. Remember, if this order block fails, it becomes a breaker block. But at the moment, we are going to use this as an order block. So what do we need? Well, we expect the market to trade higher, and we also go from external liquidity back to internal, back to external. Now, we're going to mark out our previous week low, and we are going to mark out our previous week high. Then we're going to drop to our 4 hour time frame. And on this 4 hour time frame, we're going to wait for the market to take out either side of the range. Obviously, looking at this, it is clear as day that the market wants to take out the low first before taking out the high. And we see here that we do in fact sweep out the low. Now, where would my breaker block be? Well, if I go ahead and I zoom in, we see that we have our breaker block. We have the last up close candle before the push lower. You can use these two bullish candles. In a case like this, I just prefer to use the singular up close candle. It's given me a higher probability of success. Looking at this, we do form a breaker block. And what do we have over here? We have a swing high. So if the market can close above that high, what do we have? We have a valid trade. The market does form the breaker and we close above the high in the same candle. So we have a valid trade. Stop loss goes at the closest swing low. That would be this low here. And then what do? Then we can target a 3R. But if we look at this price action range, what is this called? Well, we're in a market maker buy model. So what can we do? We can take targets at low hanging fruit. So we have low hanging fruit here, we have one here, we have one here, over here, and then we have the all-time high. Now we can take targets and partials at these levels. But again, minimum I want you to go for is a 3 risk to reward to risk. So looking at this, we see that the market does push higher and we go ahead and we hit our first low hanging fruit. So here we hit our first low hanging fruit and we can take a partial. Then we can go at the next low hanging fruit and take a partial. And then we can go to the next low hanging fruit and take a partial. But here, what do we have here? Well, if you've watched my videos, we see that over here, we do close below up close candles. So we form an opposing order block. This is where I'll take off all of my position. So not only have we secured money here, we have secured money here, and we're taking the rest off over here. This is how I would personally manage this position and how I manage swing trades. Because remember, we want to take money when the market is telling us it's ready to turn against us. That is how you become a profitable trader. If this video opened your eyes to how swing trading really works, smash that like button, drop a comment saying simplified swing trading, and subscribe for more amazing trading strategies every single week. And if you are ready to trade this and scalp, day trade, swing trade with futures and CFDs and allow me to help you pass your funded challenges, go check out the first link in my description and join the mentorship program where you will get daily live sessions, a full trading course, a 90-day funded trader roadmap, and 24/7 mentorship access. Trade smart, stay consistent, and I'll see you in the next video.